The council chamber on Zenith Prime stretched so wide that the far walls disappeared into shadow. Delegates from 400 species sat in their designated zones. Each section glowed with different colors. The air smelled like ozone and something sweet that nobody could name. Translator devices hummed softly, turning thousands of different sounds into words everyone could understand. Commander Zexthikal stood at the speaker's platform. His scales, once bright blue, had faded to gray. Scars ran across his face and down his arms. Some were from weapons. Others were from things he did not like to remember. He was old now. 50 cycles had passed since the Colonial Rebellion. 50 cycles since he faced humans in battle. The Council wanted to discuss Earth, the small blue planet in Sector 7. The humans who lived there had rejected the Galactic Council's trade agreements 3 times. Now the Krell Dominion wanted permission to bring them into line, by force if needed. Zexthikal activated the holographic display. Images of Proxima Station appeared in the air above the council floor. The station looked broken now, half destroyed. The human colony there had been small, maybe 2,000 people, but they held the station for 37 days against his fleet. 37 days. Honored delegates, Zexthikal began. His voice came out rough. He cleared his throat. I speak today about the proposal to authorize military action against Earth. I must share what I know about humans, what I learned when I fought them. The Krell ambassador, a massive creature with 6 arms and armor-plated skin, made a sound like grinding rocks. It was laughter. Commander Zexthikal, we respect your service, but Earth has no significant military. Their ships are slow. Their weapons are primitive. They have no shield technology, no quantum drives. They are barely space-capable. Zexthikal nodded slowly. Yes, all of that is true. Their technology is behind ours by perhaps 200 cycles, but you do not understand what that means. He brought up another image, a human soldier. The creature wore bulky armor. It carried a projectile weapon, primitive chemical propulsion, but the eyes that stared out from the helmet made Zexthikal's blood run cold even now. These are human Marines, he said. On Proxima Station, we outnumbered them 50-1. We had better weapons, better armor. We had orbital support. We should have taken the station in hours. The council chamber was quiet now. Some delegates leaned forward. Others checked their data screens, looking up information about the Proxima incident. On the first day, we breached their outer defenses. Zexthikal continued. We lost 60 soldiers. This seemed acceptable. We pushed deeper into the station. They fell back section by section. We thought we were winning. Then night came, he paused. His claws tapped against the podium. The humans attacked in the dark. They knew every corridor, every vent shaft, every weak point. They used their primitive weapons to set traps. They lured us into kill zones, and they laughed. By the gods, they laughed while they fought us. A delegate from the Carillion Collective raised a tentacle. Commander, are you saying their tactics were superior? That seems unlikely given their technological disadvantage. Zexthikal showed his teeth. Not a smile. A grimace. Their tactics were not superior. They were terrifying. When we cornered groups of them, they did not surrender. They fought until every one of them was dead. When we destroyed their ammunition supplies, they made weapons from pieces of the station. When we cut off their water, they kept fighting. When we offered them terms, they responded with a phrase. The hologram changed. Human writing appeared in the air. 3 words, hold the line. This was written in their own blood on a wall in Section 14, Zexthikal said. 17 Marines held that section for 9 days. 9 days. We sent 400 soldiers against them. The Marines had no food, little water. Their armor was damaged. Their weapons were failing, but they held. The chamber was completely silent now. When we finally breached their position, we found 16 bodies. 16 Marines who fought to the last, but they killed 200 of my soldiers. With broken weapons and failing armor, they killed 200 of us. The Krell ambassador shifted in his seat. This is a single incident, Commander. You speak of 2,000 humans on one station. Earth has billions. Surely they cannot all fight like this. Zexthikal pulled up more data. Records from the human homeworld. After the Proxima Station incident, I studied them. I learned their history. Honored delegates, humans have been fighting wars for their entire existence. Their entire history is war. They have had 2 conflicts they call world wars. Do you understand what that means? Wars that covered their entire planet. Millions dead. and they did this twice. He showed images of Earth history, ancient battles, medieval sieges, modern warfare, nuclear explosions. They invented nuclear weapons 70 cycles ago. Then they built enough to destroy their own planet 10 times over. They stood at the edge of extinction and pulled back. But they kept the weapons. They kept preparing for war, always preparing. Ambassador Chen, Earth's representative to the Council, sat quietly in the human delegation zone. She was small compared to most species present. Her hair was gray. She wore a simple suit. She had not spoken during the entire session. Now she met Zexthikal's eyes across the chamber. She did not smile. She did not frown. She simply watched. The Krell ambassador stood. His massive frame towered over the other delegates. Commander Zexthikal, your testimony is noted. But the Krell Dominion has fought in 37 wars. We have conquered 16 species. We are not afraid of humans and their primitive weapons. The Council has heard your warning. Now we ask for authorization to proceed. Votes were cast. Green lights appeared across the chamber. 342 species voted in favor. 50 voted against. 8 abstained. The Council had made its decision. The Krell Dominion was authorized to use military force to bring Earth into compliance with galactic law. Zexthikal gathered his files. He left the Council chamber. His ship was waiting to take him home. He was done. He had tried to warn them. They laughed. They voted. Now they would learn. Ambassador Chen remained in her seat after most delegates had left. Her assistant, a young man named Kim, approached her. Ambassador, what do we do now? Chen stood slowly. She gathered her papers. We go home. We tell the president. And then we prepare. Sans prepare for what? She looked at him. Her eyes were tired, sad. For war. The galaxy has voted. The Krell are coming. So we do what humans do. We fight. 3 weeks later, the Krell Fifth Fleet departed from their homeworld. 200 warships. 50,000 soldiers. Their destination was a small mining colony on the edge of human space. A place called New Dublin. The Krell expected to conquer it in a day. Maybe 2 if the humans were stubborn. On his homeworld of Vor, Zexthikal sat in his garden. He was old. His scales ached. His scars hurt when the weather changed. He did not want to think about war anymore. He had done his part. He had warned them, but late at night he could not sleep. He kept seeing those words written in blood on the wall of Proxima Station. He wondered if the Krell commanders had studied human history, if they understood what they were really facing. Probably not. The galaxy did not listen to warnings about humans. They saw primitive technology and assumed weakness. They would learn, the hard way, just like he had. The galaxy was about to discover that humans were not warriors. They were something much more dangerous. They were soldiers. And soldiers did not fight for glory or honor. Soldiers fought to win, no matter the cost. The Krell Fifth Fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of human territory. Admiral Throck stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Vengeance of Krell. Around him, officers worked at their stations. Screens showed 200 warships in perfect formation. Each ship bristled with weapons. Each carried hundreds of soldiers. Throck was confident. Humans had 3 small mining colonies in this sector. No military bases, no defense platforms. Their patrol ships were laughable. Chemical rockets and projectile weapons. Like children playing soldier. Target the first colony, he ordered. New Dublin. Show them what happens when primitives refuse the Council. The fleet moved forward. New Dublin appeared on the scanners. A small asteroid colony. Maybe 5,000 humans, mining equipment, basic habitation modules. The colony sent out a distress signal. It was ignored. Throck had his orders. Make an example. The attack began at dawn, colony time. Krell fighters screamed through space. They fired on the mining platforms. Explosions bloomed silently. Debris scattered. The human defense guns tried to track the fighters, but they were too slow, too primitive. In 4 hours, New Dublin was burning. The humans transmitted their surrender. Throck sent landing parties to secure the colony. His soldiers met no resistance. They rounded up the miners, put them in detention areas, raised the Krell banner over the colony administration building. As I said, Throck announced to his fleet, primitives with primitive weapons. On to the next target. The second colony fell just as easily. Port Yang on a small moon. 6,000 humans. They tried to fight. Their defense platforms managed to destroy 2 Krell fighters before being obliterated. The colony surrendered after 6 hours. Throck lost 30 soldiers. Acceptable casualties. The third colony was different. Tau Ceti Station orbited a gas giant. It was bigger than the first 2 colonies. 20,000 humans. More industrial, more organized. But it should still fall easily. Throck was already writing his report to the Krell High Command. Total victory. Minimal losses. Human resistance broken. The fleet approached Tau Ceti at standard speed. Scanners detected the usual things: civilian freighters, mining ships, cargo haulers, no military vessels. The station transmitted a message. Krell Fleet, this is Tau Ceti Station. We have received word of your attacks on New Dublin and Port Yang. We know why you are here. We will not surrender. Throck laughed. You will not surrender? You have no choice. Stand down or be destroyed. Negative. You attacked our people. You think we are weak. You are about to learn something important about humans. We die hard. The transmission ended. Throck ordered the attack. His fighters launched. His warships moved into attack formation. This would take maybe half a day. Then the fleet would move on toward Earth itself. Show them what real power looked like. The first wave of Krell fighters closed on the station. Then something strange happened. Those civilian freighters began moving. Not running away. Moving toward the Krell fleet fast. Too fast for civilian ships. What are they doing? Throck demanded. Are they evacuating? Why are they flying at us? An officer checked his scanner. Admiral, those ships are accelerating beyond civilian specs. They are coming at combat speeds, and they are arming weapons. Weapons? Those are cargo ships. The freighters opened fire. Hidden weapons bay doors fell away. Missile pods extended. Railguns powered up. The freighters were not freighters at all. They were warships disguised as civilian vessels. Armed merchantmen, Q-ships the humans called them. The first wave of Krell fighters died in seconds. Missiles tore through their formations. Railgun rounds punched through armor. The survivors broke formation and fled. The human Q-ships did not pursue. They turned and accelerated toward the main Krell fleet. All ships, engage those freighters. Destroy them. Throck shouted. Krell warships opened fire. Energy weapons blazed. Missiles launched. The Q-ships took hits. Their hulls cracked. Atmosphere vented. But they kept coming. They were not trying to win a battle. They were buying time. And they were sending a message. One Q-ship, the Shenandoah, lost its weapons. Lost its engines. Lost half its crew. But its captain, a woman named Rodriguez, did not surrender. She aimed her dying ship at a Krell cruiser and fired her remaining maneuvering thrusters. Maximum thrust. The Shenandoah accelerated. Faster, faster. She is ramming us, a Krell officer screamed. Evasive action. Too late. The Shenandoah struck the Krell cruiser at 17 kilometers per second. The explosion could be seen from the station. The Krell cruiser broke in half. Both halves tumbled away, spilling bodies and debris into space. Another Q-ship followed. Then another. The humans were ramming Krell vessels, trading their lives and ships to take out warships worth 100 times more. It was insane. It was terrifying. Throck watched 3 more of his cruisers die, each one rammed by a burning human ship. The human captains did not try to save themselves. They aimed their ships and pushed the throttle to maximum. They died with their ships. Pull back, Throck ordered. Reform at safe distance. The fleet withdrew. Tau Ceti Station remained. The Q-ships were gone, destroyed. But they had killed 7 Krell warships. Hundreds of Krell soldiers were dead. And the battle had just begun. As the Krell regrouped, new contacts appeared on the scanners. More human ships, real warships this time, destroyers and frigates. They dropped out of hyperspace behind the Krell fleet. Their weapons were still primitive by galactic standards, but there were many of them, and they were not running away. The lead destroyer transmitted a message. The voice was calm, professional. Krell Fleet, this is Destroyer John Paul Jones. You attacked our colonies, you killed our people. Now you face the United Earth Defense Force. We are here to stop you. Surrender or die. Throck could not believe what he was hearing. These humans were outnumbered, outgunned. Their technology was inferior, but they were demanding his surrender, demanding it. Destroy them all, he ordered. The fleets clashed. Krell weapons were more advanced. Krell shields were stronger. But human tactics were different. They did not try to fight ship to ship. They swarmed. Dozens of small ships attacking single large targets. They focused fire, coordinated strikes. When one ship was destroyed, others took its place, and they used their primitive weapons in ways the Krell had never seen. They fired missiles on ballistic trajectories that curved around shields. They used electromagnetic pulses that disrupted sensors. They deployed mines that waited silently until Krell ships passed overhead. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, Tau Ceti Station still stood. The human defense fleet was mostly destroyed. Only 3 destroyers limped away to hyperspace. But the Krell had lost 18 warships. 18. Throck stood on his damaged bridge. One of his arms was broken. Smoke filled the air. Dead officers lay at their stations. He had won. Tau Ceti Station would fall soon. The humans had no more ships to defend it, but this victory had cost him a third of his fleet. His communications officer approached. Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the station. Put it through. A human face appeared on the screen. An older man with gray hair and a scarred face. He wore a military uniform. Admiral Throck, I am Colonel Hayes, commander of Tau Ceti Station. You wanted this station. Come and take it. We will be waiting. The transmission ended. Throck stared at the empty screen. The humans should be surrendering. They had no fleet left, no hope. But they were challenging him, inviting him to attack. He remembered something now, something he had ignored when the council voted. Commander Zexthakal's warning, the old Vorian veteran talking about Proxima Station, about humans who laughed while they fought, about soldiers who would not surrender. Throck looked at his officers. Many were wounded. All looked shaken. Send a message to High Command. Tell them we have engaged human forces. Tell them we need reinforcements. Reinforcements, Admiral? But we are winning. Throck looked at the view screen. Tau Ceti Station hung there, silent, waiting. He thought about the human Q ships ramming his cruisers, thought about their captains who chose death over retreat, thought about humans demanding his surrender when they were clearly losing. Yes, he said quietly, we are winning, but this will not be the quick war we planned. Send for reinforcements. Tell them to send many ships. Tell them to prepare for a long fight. Across the galaxy, news of the battle reached the Galactic Council. The delegates read the reports. Many dismissed them. So the humans fought hard at one colony. That changed nothing. The Krell were stronger. They would win eventually. It was just taking longer than expected, but some delegates were not so sure. They remembered Zexthakal's testimony. They pulled up human historical data. What they found disturbed them. The humans had a saying, a warning they gave each other throughout their violent history. Never start a war with humans. They are too stupid to know when they are beaten. On Earth, in the underground military command center beneath Geneva, General Sarah Okafor watched the tactical displays. Tau Ceti was holding. Barely. Colonel Hayes and his garrison were buying time. Time for Earth to mobilize. Time to prepare. An aide approached. General, the President wants to know when we can launch our counterattack. Okafor studied the map. The Krell had committed 1 fleet, 200 ships. Earth intelligence suggested they had 4 more fleets, maybe 5. This was going to be a long war, a terrible war, but humans knew how to fight those. Tell the President we counterattack in 6 weeks. We need time to position our forces, time to prepare our defenses. The Krell think they are fighting a war of conquest. They are about to learn they started a war of survival. And when humans fight for survival, we do not lose. The aide saluted and left. Okafor returned to the displays. Tau Ceti was still holding. Those brave soldiers were giving Earth the time it needed. She would make sure their sacrifice mattered. She would make sure the Krell regretted ever attacking humanity. The galaxy laughed when Zextikal warned them. They voted to authorize force against Earth. Now the war had begun. And humanity was showing the galaxy something they had never seen before. What it looked like when a species that had survived 2 world wars, nuclear weapons, and countless conflicts decided to fight back. 6 months had passed since the Krell attacked New Dublin. The war that should have ended in weeks was still raging. The Galactic Council met again in emergency session. This time the mood was different. No one was laughing. The council chamber screens displayed the latest casualty reports. The numbers were staggering. The Krell had lost 57 warships. Over 20,000 soldiers were dead. 30,000 more were wounded. And they had only managed to take 4 human colonies. The Krell ambassador stood before the council. He looked different now. His armor was dented. His voice was tired. The Krell Dominion requests additional support from council member states. The human resistance is stronger than anticipated. A delegate from the Carillion Collective activated their speaker. Ambassador, your initial report said this would be a simple policing action. You said humans were primitives with outdated weapons, yet you now request military aid. The Krell ambassador shifted uncomfortably. The humans fight in ways we did not expect. They do not follow standard military doctrine. When we attack, they counterattack. When we surround them, they break out. When we offer terms, they refuse. Their tactics are unpredictable. Unpredictable? Another delegate asked. They are primitives. How can primitives be unpredictable? The screens changed. Battle footage appeared. It came from Krell helmet cameras and ship recorders. The delegates watched in silence. The first video showed a Krell landing force assaulting a human mining outpost. The Krell soldiers advanced in standard formation. They were disciplined, well-trained. Their weapons were superior. But the humans did not fight back from defensive positions. Instead, they charged. Human soldiers ran directly at the Krell lines, firing their primitive projectile weapons. Many humans died, but the Krell formation broke. The humans overwhelmed them through sheer aggression. The second video showed a space battle. A human destroyer was crippled, its weapons offline, its engines failing. Standard doctrine said the ship should surrender. Instead, the human captain broadcast a message. For Earth, for humanity, for those who come after. Then the destroyer accelerated into a Krell battlecruiser. Both ships exploded. The third video was the worst. It showed Krell soldiers clearing a human habitat module. They found a group of human civilians, miners, families. The Krell commander offered them protection if they surrendered. The humans refused. They fought back with mining tools and improvised weapons. When the battle ended, all the humans were dead. So were 47 Krell soldiers. The council chamber was silent. Finally, the Carillion delegate spoke again. These humans, they fight like they have nothing to lose. Even their civilians fight. The Krell ambassador nodded. Yes, every human is a potential combatant. Their military trains all citizens in basic combat. Even their children learn to shoot weapons. They call it education. We call it madness. Another delegate, a being made of crystalline structures, pulsed with light. Its translated voice was curious. Have you intercepted any human communications? Perhaps understanding their mindset would help. The Krell ambassador activated a new file. We have intercepted thousands of messages. Most are encrypted, but we have translated some. The content is disturbing. The screen showed translated human messages. One was from a soldier writing to his family. Dear Mom and Dad, the Krell attacked today. We lost Johnson and Martinez, but we held the line. We always hold the line. Do not worry about me. I am doing what I was trained to do. What humans have always done, we fight. We survive, we win. Love always, Marcus. Another message appeared. This one was between 2 human ship captains. Captain Rodriguez, this is Captain Chen. My ship is dying. Reactor breach in 10 minutes. I am going to ram that Krell carrier. Tell Earth we tried our best. The response came back immediately. Shen, you crazy bastard. Give them hell. See you in Valhalla. A third message. This one was broadcast to all human forces from Earth Command. To all personnel. The Krell think they can break us. They think we will surrender. They are wrong. Humans do not surrender. We fight until we win. or until there's nothing left to fight with. Remember who we are. Remember where we come from. We are the children of warriors. We are survivors. Make them pay for every inch. Make them remember why attacking Earth was a mistake. The delegates stared at the messages. One delegate, a peaceful herbivore species, spoke softly. They have songs about dying in battle? They volunteer for missions with no chance of survival? What kind of species does this? The Krell ambassador looked at the delegate. A species that has been at war for its entire existence. We discovered their historical database. They have been fighting wars for over 10,000 years. Continuous warfare. Tribe against tribe. Nation against nation. World war after world war. They nearly destroyed themselves with nuclear weapons. But they survived. And they kept fighting. He activated another display. Images of human history appeared. Ancient warriors with swords. Medieval knights in armor. Soldiers in trenches. Planes dropping bombs. Mushroom clouds rising over cities. They have words for different types of war, the Krell ambassador continued. Total war, guerrilla war, nuclear war, psychological war. They study war. They teach it in schools. They write books about it. They make art about it. War is not foreign to them. War is what they know best. The crystalline delegate pulsed again. But surely their primitive technology limits them. Our weapons are superior. Yes, our weapons are better. But the humans adapt. They study our tactics. They learn from every battle. 3 months ago, our shield stopped all their weapons. Now they target our ships with coordinated strikes that overwhelm the shields. They are learning faster than we can counter. The Krell ambassador showed more data. Look at this. Human weapons development over the past 6 months. They started with chemical projectiles, basic missiles. Now they have improved their targeting systems, increased their rate of fire, developed new missile types specifically designed to defeat our countermeasures. They are engineering weapons in the middle of a war. A military officer from the Vorian Empire stood. It was Commander Zexthikal, the old veteran who had warned the Council 6 months ago. He approached the central platform. Honored delegates, Zexthikal said. I told you this would happen. I warned you about humans. You did not listen. Now the Krell are losing, and they are asking for help. I say we should deny their request. The chamber erupted. Delegates shouted. The council speaker banged their gavel for order. Commander Zexthikal, please explain, the speaker said. Zexthikal looked around the chamber. The Krell started this war. They attacked human colonies without provocation. Now they are learning what I learned 50 years ago. Humans do not fight for conquest. They fight for survival. And when humans fight for survival, they will burn the galaxy down before they surrender. He activated his own display. I have studied human military doctrine. They have something they call acceptable casualties. Do you know what that means? It means they calculate how many of their own people they are willing to lose to achieve an objective. They put numbers on their own lives. They decide in advance how many can die. That is barbaric, a delegate said. Yes, it is barbaric. But it is also effective. Look at these numbers. In the battle for Tau Ceti, humans lost 90% of their defending fleet, 90%. But they held the colony. They considered it an acceptable trade. Zexthikal showed more data. They have doctrines for fighting when outnumbered, doctrines for fighting when outgunned, doctrines for fighting when there is no hope of victory. They call it last stand tactics, making the enemy pay for every meter of ground, trading 1 life for 10, trading 10 lives for 100. The Krell ambassador was silent now. He knew Zexthikal was right. The Krell asked for this war. Zexthikal continued. They wanted to show their strength, to make an example of humans. Now humans are making an example of them. If we send more ships, more soldiers, we will just give humans more targets, more chances to practice their killing arts. He looked directly at the Krell ambassador. I respect the Krell as warriors. You have won many battles, but you have never fought a species like humans. You fight for glory, for honor, for conquest. Humans fight to win. That is all they care about, winning. And they will do anything to win. The council voted. 200 species voted to deny the Krell request for aid. 150 voted in favor. The Krell would have to fight humans alone. After the session, several delegates approached Zexthakal. They had questions. They wanted to understand. "Commander," one delegate asked, "do you think the Krell can still win?" Zexthakal considered the question. "The Krell are stronger, better equipped. They should win. But war is not about should. War is about will. And humans have more will than any species I have ever encountered. They will fight in space, they will fight on planets, they will fight in asteroids and stations. They will fight until the Krell give up, or until every human is dead." "But they are losing," another delegate said. "The Krell have taken several colonies." Zexthakal made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Humans have a saying, you can win every battle and still lose the war. The Krell are winning battles. But look at the cost. Every colony takes weeks to capture. Every battle costs hundreds of ships. How long can the Krell sustain these losses? How long before their people demand the war end?" He showed them one more piece of data. "This is a human transmission we intercepted last week. It is from Earth's military command. They are not panicking. They are not desperate. They are planning, calculating, preparing for a long war. Because humans know how to fight long wars. They have done it before, many times." The transmission was short, just a few lines, but the words chilled the delegates who read them. Phase 1 complete. Enemy committed. Losses acceptable. Begin Phase 2. "They planned this," one delegate whispered. "They knew the Krell would attack. They prepared for it." Zexthakal nodded. "Humans are always preparing for war. Even in peace they prepare. They study. They train. They plan. Because they know war will come eventually. It always does. And when it comes, they are ready." He left the delegates to their thoughts. He returned to his quarters and poured himself a drink. A strong one. His communicator chimed. It was a private message from the Krell High Command. They wanted his advice. They wanted to know how to beat the humans. Zexthakal stared at the message for a long time. Finally, he wrote a response. "You cannot beat humans by fighting them. Every battle makes them stronger. Every loss makes them more determined. The only way to beat humans is to not fight them at all. Seek peace. Offer terms. End this war before it destroys you." He sent the message. He did not expect them to listen. Pride would not let them. The Krell Dominion had never lost a war. They would not accept defeat from primitives. So the war would continue. The Krell would keep attacking, and humans would keep fighting, until one side broke. Until one side could not continue. Zexthakal finished his drink. He looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans and Krell were dying. Ships were burning. Colonies were falling. And the galaxy was learning a lesson it should have learned long ago. Never start a war with a species that considers war their normal state of existence. 1 year, 365 days since the Krell attacked New Dublin. The war that should have lasted weeks was entering its second year. The Krell High Command stood in their war room, staring at tactical displays that showed nothing but red markers. Red for human forces, red for lost Krell ships, red for failed objectives. Admiral Throck was there. He had lost weight. His armor was scarred. His eyes held no more confidence. He pointed at the map. "They have pushed us back to the outer rim. We hold only 3 of the colonies we captured. The rest have been retaken. Human forces now threaten our supply lines." The Krell War Marshal, Supreme Commander of all Krell military forces, studied the display. "How is this possible? Our technology is superior. Our ships are stronger. We have more soldiers." Throck pulled up battle reports. "They adapt faster than we do. When we developed new tactics, they countered within weeks. When we improved our shields, they changed their weapons. They learn from every engagement. Every loss makes them better." He showed footage from a recent battle. Krell forces had set a perfect trap. A human fleet flew directly into it. The Krell activated their ambush, but the humans did not try to escape. They attacked, directly into the trap. They accepted massive casualties to close the distance. Then they unleashed weapons the Krell had never seen before, magnetic pulse bombs that fried ship systems. kinetic kill vehicles that punch through armor, cyber warfare programs that crash navigation computers. The Krell trap had destroyed half the human fleet, but the humans destroyed the entire Krell ambush force. The surviving human ships jumped away, mission accomplished. They knew it was a trap, Throck said. They knew and they attacked anyway, because destroying our ambush force was worth losing half their fleet. They make these calculations, these cold decisions about acceptable losses. Another officer spoke up. Marshal, we have intercepted human broadcasts. They are broadcasting their history, their wars. They want us to know what we are fighting. The war marshal growled. Psychological warfare. Ignore it. Marshal, with respect, we cannot ignore it. The troops have seen these broadcasts. Morale is falling. The soldiers know what humans have done to each other. They know humans survived nuclear war. They know humans have fought for thousands of years. It is affecting combat performance. The war marshal watched one of the human broadcasts. It showed images from Earth history. World War I trenches where millions died. World War II battles across entire continents. Nuclear weapons that could end civilizations. Chemical weapons. Biological weapons. Weapons designed to cause maximum suffering, a human voice narrated. This is what we did to ourselves. This is what we survived. Do you really think you can break us? We have faced extinction and kept fighting. We have burned our own cities and rebuilt them. We have lost millions and continued. You attacked us thinking we were weak. You were wrong. The war marshal shut off the broadcast. Where are they getting this technology? How are they improving so fast? Throck pulled up intelligence reports. They are reverse engineering our technology. Every ship we lose, they study. Every weapon we use, they analyze. But they are not just copying us. They are improving on our designs, making them better, simpler, more effective. He showed examples. Human ships now had shields. Not as good as Krell shields, but functional. Human weapons had been upgraded with energy components. Their missiles now used quantum targeting. All of it based on captured Krell technology. All of it improved through human engineering. They have something they call research and development, Throck continued. During war, they research new weapons while fighting. Most species wait until after a conflict to improve. Humans do it during the battle. The war marshal was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked the question everyone was thinking. Can we win? Throck looked at his commander. Honestly, I do not know. We are stronger, but they are more determined. We have better weapons, but they use theirs better. We have more ships, but they make each ship count. If we continue, this war will last years, maybe decades, and the cost will be enormous. Before the war marshal could respond, alarms sounded. A human fleet had been detected. Not at the front lines here in Krell home space. Somehow impossibly, human ships had penetrated deep into Krell territory. The tactical officer brought up the display. 30 human warships, heading for the Krell homeworld. They will arrive in 6 hours. 6 hours? How did they get past our defenses? Unknown, Marshal. They used jump points we did not know existed. Routes through areas we considered impassable. They must have been scouting for months. The war marshal activated the home defense fleet. 50 warships, more than enough to stop 30 human vessels. But as the Krell fleet moved to intercept, they received a transmission from the human commander. Krell High Command. This is Admiral Sarah Chen, United Earth Defense Force. We are not here to attack your homeworld. We are here to deliver a message. You started this war thinking we were weak. You have learned otherwise. Now you have a choice. Surrender and withdraw from human space. Or we continue this war until one of us cannot fight anymore. Choose wisely. The war marshal was furious. They dare threaten us in our own space? Destroy them! The Krell fleet engaged. The battle was short. Brutal. The humans fought with the same desperate ferocity they always showed. But they were outnumbered. Outgunned. 28 of the 30 human ships were destroyed. The final 2 jumped away before the Krell could finish them. The war marshal watched the wreckage drift past his homeworld. Let that be a lesson to them. Krell space is impenetrable. But Throck saw something else in the battle data. The humans had not tried to win. They attacked knowing they would lose. This was a demonstration. A message. If 30 ships could reach the Krell homeworld, what could 100 do? What could 1,000? That night Throck received a communication. Private channel encrypted. It was from Commander Zexthikal. Admiral Throck, I warned your government this would happen. I told them about Proxima Station. I told them humans do not surrender. Now you are learning what I learned. The question is, will you learn before it is too late? Throck sent a reply. Commander, what would you do in my position? The response came back quickly. I would seek peace immediately, before humans develop weapons that can truly threaten the Krell homeworld. Before this war destroys both our species, pride is not worth extinction. Throck considered these words. He thought about the past year, the losses, the battles that never seemed to end, the human soldiers who fought to the last breath, the human ships that rammed Krell vessels rather than surrender, the human civilians who picked up weapons and fought. He made a decision. He requested an audience with the War Marshal, a private meeting. What he had to say would not be popular, but it needed to be said. The meeting was brief. The War Marshal listened to Throck's assessment, the casualty projections, the resource calculations, the strategic reality. When Throck finished, the War Marshal was silent for a long time. You are saying we should surrender? The War Marshal asked. I am saying we should seek terms. Call it a strategic withdrawal. Call it a negotiated settlement. Call it whatever lets us save face, but end this war. Because if we continue, we will lose. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but eventually. Humans have time. They have will. They will outlast us. The War Marshal looked at the tactical displays, red markers everywhere, human forces pushing deeper into Krell space. Supply lines stretched, casualties mounting, morale falling. We have never lost a war, the War Marshal said quietly. There is a first time for everything, Throck replied. The question is whether we lose with some dignity or whether we lose everything. 1 week later, the Krell High Command sent a message to Earth. They proposed a ceasefire, negotiations, a return to pre-war borders. The humans took 3 days to respond. When the response came, it was not what the Krell expected. Krell High Command, this is Earth Defense Command. We accept your proposal for negotiations. We will meet at a neutral location. But understand this. You attacked us without provocation. You killed our people. You destroyed our colonies. A return to pre-war status is not sufficient. There will be reparations. There will be treaties. There will be guarantees. And there will be consequences if you ever attack human space again. These are our terms. Accept them or the war continues. The Krell leadership debated for days. Some wanted to reject the terms. Some wanted to continue fighting. But the numbers did not lie. Continuing the war would cost more than accepting human demands. 2 weeks later, Krell and human representatives met on a neutral space station. Commander Zexthikal was there as a mediator, representing the Galactic Council. General Sarah Okafor led the human delegation. She was the same woman who had lost 3 sons in the war. The same woman who had planned the counteroffensive that pushed Krell forces back to their own space. The negotiations lasted 3 days. The Krell agreed to withdraw from all human territory. They agreed to pay reparations. They agreed to a demilitarized zone. They agreed to everything humans demanded. On the final day, General Okafor met privately with Admiral Throck. They stood in an observation room, looking out at the stars. You fought well, Okafor said. Your soldiers were brave. Your tactics were sound. In another war against another enemy, you would have won. Throck looked at the human general. Why did you not push further? You could have invaded Krell space, taken our colonies. Okafor smiled sadly. Because we are not conquerors. We fight to defend ourselves, to protect our people, not to build empires. You started this war. We finished it. Now it is done. Unless you force us to fight again. She turned to leave, then paused. Admiral, I lost 3 sons in this war. Good boys. Brave soldiers. They died holding the line, doing their duty. I will never forgive the Krell for starting this war. But I will not let hate drive me to continue it. Remember that. Remember that humans can make peace as well as war. Throck watched her leave. He understood now. Humans were not monsters. They were not berserkers who only knew violence. They were survivors. They fought when they had to. They made peace when they could. And they never forgot those who forced them to fight. The war was over. The Krell had surrendered. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Never underestimate humans. Never assume primitive technology means weak enemies. Never start a war with a species that has perfected the art of warfare over thousands of years. But the galaxy was about to learn another lesson, one that would make the Krell War seem small by comparison. 2 years after the Krell War ended, the galaxy enjoyed an uneasy peace. Earth had taken its place as a full voting member of the Galactic Council. Human ships patrolled trade routes. Human technology was being studied by dozens of species. Human military doctrine was being taught at war colleges across civilized space. Then the warning came. From the edge of known space. From exploration ships that had ventured too far. From colonies that sent one last desperate message before going silent. The Nexus. A hive mind from beyond the galactic rim. They did not negotiate. They did not communicate. They simply consumed. Worlds, ships, entire species. They swept through space like a plague, absorbing everything in their path. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. 6 species had already fallen to the Nexus. Billions were dead. Panic filled the chamber. Delegates shouted. Some proposed evacuation. Others suggested hiding. The council was falling apart. Ambassador Chen, now Defense Coordinator Chen, stood at the human delegation platform. She waited for the chaos to settle. When it did not, she activated an override. Her voice filled the chamber, cutting through the noise. Honored delegates, the Nexus is coming. Running will not save you. Hiding will not save you. There is only one path forward. We fight. The Carillion delegate pulsed with agitation. Fight, Coordinator Chen. 6 species have tried to fight. They are gone, destroyed. The Nexus is unstoppable. Chen looked at the delegate. Those species fought alone, separately. The Nexus picked them off one by one. But we are the Galactic Council. We have the resources of 400 species. We have numbers. We have technology. And now, thanks to the Krell War, we have something else. We have human military doctrine. She activated the central display. Battle plans appeared. Defensive positions. Strike forces. Supply lines. Contingency plans. It was a complete military strategy. Earth offers to lead the defense. But we have conditions. First, all species must contribute. Ships, soldiers, resources. No exceptions. Second, unified command structure. No debates in the middle of battles. Third, you follow human tactics, even if they seem wrong, even if they cost lives, because the alternative is extinction. The delegates were silent. Some looked at the battle plans. Others looked at each other. Finally, the council speaker stood. You ask us to give you control of our militaries, to follow your commands, to accept casualties. Why should we trust you? Chen met the speaker's gaze. 2 years ago, the Krell attacked us. They had better weapons, better ships. They should have won. But we stopped them. We pushed them back. We made them surrender, not because we were stronger, but because we knew how to fight. The Krell learned to trust our methods, or at least to respect them. Now I ask the same of you. Trust us, or watch your species die. The vote took 3 hours. In the end, 380 species agreed to human command. 20 refused and withdrew from the council. Their fate would be their own. Commander Zex Thickle approached Chen after the vote. The old Vorian veteran looked tired but determined. Coordinator Chen, I offer myself as liaison between human command and alien forces. I have fought with humans. Against humans. I know how you think. I can translate your tactics for species that have never known real war. Chen nodded. Welcome to the war room, Commander. We will need all the help we can get. The coalition fleet assembled at the terminus line, a defensive perimeter marking the edge of civilized space. 3,000 ships from 300 species. It was the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen, but they had never fought together, never trained together. Most had never fought at all. Human officers spread throughout the fleet, teaching, training, drilling alien crews on human tactics. It was chaos. Species that had never worked together were now expected to fight as one unit. Admiral Throck was there. The Krell had sent their best ships to join the defense. Throck commanded the Krell contingent. When he met General Okafor, the human fleet commander, the greeting was stiff, professional. But there was respect. Admiral Throck, Okafor said, thank you for coming. We will need the Krell military experience. Throck inclined his head. General Okafor, 2 years ago we were enemies. Today we fight together. I have learned much from studying your tactics. My fleet is ready to follow your commands. I hope you will not need to use everything you learned from fighting us. Okafor replied. But if it comes to that, I know the Krell will hold the line. The Nexus arrived 3 weeks later. They did not announce themselves. They simply appeared, hundreds of biomechanical ships, living vessels that pulsed with organic energy. They moved like a swarm, coordinated, efficient, deadly. The first engagement was a disaster. The alien ships tried to fight individually. Old habits. They broke formation. They fought defensively. The Nexus tore through them. 20 ships destroyed in the first hour. Okafor watched the battle from her command ship. She saw the coalition falling apart. She made a decision. All ships, this is General Okafor. Fall back to defensive positions now. Human First Fleet advance. Show them how it is done. The human fleet moved forward. 500 ships. They did not break formation. They moved as one unit. When the Nexus attacked, the humans did something the aliens had not tried. They counterattacked. Directly into the Nexus swarm. Nexus ships swarmed the human vessels. But the humans had studied the previous battles. They knew the Nexus relied on overwhelming individual targets, so the humans never fought alone. They paired up. When one ship was attacked, 2 others provided covering fire. When a ship took damage, it fell back while others moved forward. It was combined arms doctrine. Something humans had perfected in countless wars. Support each other. Cover your weak points. Press the attack. Never give the enemy time to adapt. The human fleet lost 30 ships in the engagement, but they destroyed 200 Nexus vessels. When the humans finally withdrew, the alien fleet commanders understood. They had watched humans turn defense into offense, turn chaos into coordination, turn defeat into victory. Commander Zexthikal sent a message to all fleet commanders. That is how humans fight. Not for glory, not for honor. They fight to win. Now you will learn to do the same, or you will die. The next engagement went better. The alien ships followed human tactics. They stayed in formation. They supported each other. They pressed attacks when the humans signaled. It was not perfect. Many ships were lost, but they were learning. The Nexus adapted. Of course they did. Hive minds learned quickly. They changed their formations. They targeted specific ship types. They used new weapons. Every battle they evolved, but humans had faced adaptive enemies before. They had fought wars against thinking opponents for thousands of years. When the Nexus changed tactics, humans changed too. Faster, more aggressively. A human sergeant aboard a Krell warship explained it to the confused Krell crew. The Nexus adapts to kill efficiently, but we adapt to win absolutely. There is a difference. They optimize. We improvise. And improvisation beats optimization every time. 6 months into the war, the Nexus changed strategy. They stopped attacking military targets. Instead, they went after civilian colonies. Soft targets, places with minimal defenses. The alien delegates were horrified. They demanded the fleet split up to defend every colony, but Okafor refused. We cannot defend everywhere, she told the council. If we split our forces, the Nexus will destroy us piece by piece. We hold the main fleet together. We strike at their core. We make them come to us. You would let our colonies burn? A delegate screamed. I would save your species. Okafor replied coldly. Colonies can be rebuilt. Your species cannot. This is the harsh mathematics of war. Save what matters most. Everything else is acceptable losses. The delegates were shocked, but Zexthikal stood and spoke. She is right. This is how humans think. This is how they won against the Krell. Cold calculation, harsh decisions. If you want to survive, you must think like them. Feel later. Win first. The fleet held together. They identified the Nexus command nodes, the central hive structures that coordinated the swarm. They planned a massive assault. Everything would depend on one battle. Win, and the Nexus would be crippled. Lose, and the galaxy would fall. The final battle took place at the Crucible Nebula. The Nexus had established their main base in the dense gas clouds, perfect for ambush, terrible for fleet maneuvers. The coalition fleet jumped in. 3,000 ships. The Nexus was waiting. 5,000 bioships. The odds were against the coalition, but Okafor had a plan. "All ships, execute Chaos Protocol," she ordered. The fleet broke formation, ships scattered in every direction. It looked like panic, like a rout. The Nexus pursued, dividing their forces to chase individual targets. This was what they had learned worked against the coalition, but it was a trap. The coalition ships were not fleeing. They were positioning, drawing the Nexus into kill zones, spreading the hive mind thin. Then Okafor gave the second order. "Reform. Target the command nodes. All ships, maximum firepower, now." The scattered fleet reformed instantly. They had practiced this maneuver for months. The alien crews had learned to trust the chaos, to follow human commands even when they made no sense. 3,000 ships focused fire on the Nexus command nodes. The bioships tried to defend, but they were out of position, scattered. The concentrated fire overwhelmed their defenses. The command nodes exploded. The Nexus swarm faltered. Without central coordination, the bioships became confused. They stopped working together, started attacking randomly. The coalition pressed the advantage. They hunted down the leaderless ships. The battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, the Nexus was broken, their command structure destroyed. Their fleet scattered. The surviving bioships fled back beyond the galactic rim. The coalition had won, but the cost was high. 800 ships lost, 50,000 soldiers dead, 20 colonies destroyed before the Nexus was stopped. But the galaxy survived. On the flagship, Okafor stood with Zexthakal and Thrak. They watched the retreating Nexus ships on the displays. "You used controlled chaos," Zexthakal said. "You made it look like panic. But every ship knew exactly where to go, where to reform. Brilliant." Okafor nodded tiredly. "The Nexus learned to counter our formations, so we used no formation. They learned to fight coordinated attacks, so we attacked from chaos. They adapted to predict us, so we became unpredictable." Thrak looked at the human general with something like awe. "This is what you meant when you said humans fight differently. You do not just react, you plan, you adapt, you improvise, you turn weakness into strength." "We have had a lot of practice," Okafor said. 10,000 years of war teaches you things. How to win when you should lose. How to fight when you are afraid. How to lead when everything seems hopeless." The victory celebration on Zenith Prime lasted 3 days. Every species sent delegations. They praised the coalition. They praised the human leadership. They called it the greatest military victory in galactic history. But at a private meeting, Zexthakal and Okafor sat quietly, sharing a drink. "Commander," Okafor said, 2 years ago you tried to warn the Council about us. They laughed. They voted to authorize war against Earth. What do you think now?" Zexthakal took a long drink. "I think the galaxy learned 2 lessons. First, never underestimate humans. Second, always have humans on your side when war comes." "We did not want to be warriors for the galaxy," Okafor said. "We just wanted to be left alone, to live in peace." "I know. But the galaxy needs warriors. And now they have learned that humans are the best warriors they have ever seen. Not because you love war, but because you understand it. Because you have lived with it for so long that it has become part of you." Okafor looked tired. Old. "I lost 3 sons to the Krell War. I lost my husband to the Nexus War. War has taken everything from me. But you are right. War is what humans do best. It is what we have always done. Maybe it is what we will always do." "Then let us hope," Zexthakal said, "that humans also learn to teach peace. Because a species that can make war like you do could build a peace that lasts forever." 6 months later, Earth opened its first galactic military academy. Officers from across the galaxy came to study. They learned human tactics, human strategy, human military history. Zexthakal was appointed as the first headmaster. On opening day, he stood before the first class of students. 200 officers from 50 species. They looked at him expectantly. "Welcome," he said, "to the Earth Military Academy. You are here to learn how to fight, how to lead, how to win. But most importantly, you are here to learn when to fight. Because humans have taught me something important. The best warriors are the ones who only fight when they must, who exhaust every other option first, who understand that victory in war is temporary but the cost is permanent. He activated a display. 3 words appeared. The same words he had seen written in blood on the wall of Proxima Station 50 years ago. Hold the line. This is the human motto, Zexthakal said. 3 simple words, but they contain everything you need to know about human warfare. Hold the line. Do your duty. Protect those behind you. Never give up. Never surrender. Fight until you win, or until there is nothing left to fight with. He looked at the students. The galaxy laughed at humans once. They thought primitive technology meant primitive people. They were wrong. Dead wrong. Now the galaxy prays they never have to fight without humans on their side. You are here to learn from the best. From the species that has perfected war over 10,000 years. Learn well, because someday you will hold the line, and when that day comes, you will remember what humans taught you. The class began. The students learned, and the galaxy became a little bit safer, because now, when threats came, there were warriors who knew how to fight, who understood that war was not about glory or honor. It was about survival, about protecting what mattered. Years later, when Zexthakal was asked what he had learned from humans, he always gave the same answer. I learned that the strongest warriors are not the ones who love war. They are the ones who understand its cost, who fight only when necessary, who never forget that behind every casualty number is someone who will never go home. Humans carry that weight. They bear that burden, and that is what makes them the best soldiers the galaxy has ever seen. The galaxy had learned its lesson, the hard way, just like Zexthakal had tried to warn them. Never laugh at humans, never underestimate them, and always, always remember what happens when you force them to fight.